Welcome to Nugget 92 with Steve Groman. Today we're going to continue on our telescope series and talk about the Arizona Radio Observatory, which owns and operates two radio telescopes in southern Arizona, the 12-meter telescope on Kitt Peak and the Heinrich Hertz submillimeter telescope located on Mount Graham, which Mount Graham is the location of our previous two nuggets. Sadly, at this time, because of COVID, another bit of American history is being stopped, not only as far as the operations are being suspended, but visiting Kitt Peak.
Kitt Peak is a beautiful place, very large, and it's an awesome place to go visit. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it this time.
Right. We keep getting stopped, don't we?
Yeah, it seems that way.
It is perched on the highest point in the Keeneland Mountains, and the observatory and the radio telescopes themselves are part of the observatory's 10 dishes comprising the Very Long Base Array, which we will talk about the VLAs in New Mexico and California again in future nuggets. It is actually the second highest peak in the Tohono Indian Reservation and the second most sacred after Baboquivari Peak. And what's exciting about the Tohono Reservation is that we have a friend who is a pastor there and has invited Steve to speak and teach on creation at his church.
And we got a good response to the teaching. It was very nice. Kitt Peak is the world's largest collection of optical telescopes, and it is one of the finest places, they say, for night skies. Darkness is incredible when you get out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. The skies are just beautiful. But it's home to 25 optical and 2 radio telescopes that represent 8 astronomical research institutions. A lot of people involved up there.
Yes, it is operated by a consortium of universities.
I would encourage people, if you ever get up that way into the Tucson area, be sure and go see this thing. It takes a little bit of time because, again, it is a massive complex.
Yeah, and it was established in 1964. It's in its 6th decade of operations, and that's what's so sad is that places like this have been closed because of COVID.
3 of their telescopes are devoted strictly to public viewing. There's a scope for everybody. Sometimes there's a line, but it goes quick.
When we were there, we went inside the enclosed housing of the McMath Pierce Solar Telescope, the world's largest solar and optical astronomy observatory reflector telescope. It's also the most
unusual.
Right. I mean, you look at this as like, okay, that's a telescope. It's really interesting, isn't it? And it has some really amazing architecture to it. It was completed in 1962. It's 110 feet tall.
Another thing is it's got a 200-foot long concrete optical tunnel. Very, very unusual design, but it's fascinating. And it serves as the back leg to the telescope's upside-down V formation.
It has become an example of an outdoor monumental sculpture.
It truly is, too.
And it's received awards in 1990 and 1965 for its design. And again, it's a very famous telescope, and if you ever are in that region, it would be worth going to Kitt Peak just to simply see this structure. The Great New Solar Telescope at the Kitt Peak National Observatory in Arizona is a source of pride to the nation, the largest instrument for solar research in the world. It represents American astronomers with a unique tool for investigating the nearest of the stars, our sun. The project is of exceptional interest to all of our citizens. And why don't you tell us about this sun-star thing right here?
Yeah, again, it's interesting because, as this says clearly, and that's what everybody was taught, that the sun is a star. That's what it says, our nearest star. The Bible says that God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night, and he made the stars also. The sun is not a star, according to what the Bible says. See, we're going to believe something, and we go into a little more detail in that in some of our other nuggets and in our lesson, Misconceptions About Space.
When we talk about evolution and creation, how in many instances, especially with earth sciences, the dates are wrong. The way the mechanism, water, fire, ice, all the mechanisms are the same, but it's the time frames. And when it comes to space, they have no way of truly measuring scientifically these distances that they're saying, and that's the point that we're making.
Yeah, when we were there one time, we saw this solar viewing today sign. I thought, well, let's go see what that's all about. So we did. We actually got to go in and view the sun through this small telescope. Since then, we've actually bought solar filters for our cameras, and it's fascinating to actually photograph the sun and look at it up close with magnification.
Kitt Peak advertises that through their telescopes, you can see these other galaxies.
Yeah, M31 and M33, they claim.
What I wanted to point out with this is that we actually, when we were at Lowell Observatory many years ago, we went to one of the night star parties and looked through a telescope and saw one of these supposed other galaxies.
But again, it's interesting because as you see on this page, it says they were created from data. It's so important that we understand what we see when we see a printed picture or something online or a poster or whatever it is. It's all this beautiful color and everything detailed. And that's not what they receive. Those images are created out of scientific, basically math-type information that the telescopes receive.
And they add color to make it look more exciting.
Correct. And that article even says which color they add to which filter. And we cover that in our misconceptions about space lesson.
And we want to remind people there are just a few more days left that you could see the comet Neowise. And we saw it again last night.
We had a good sighting last night.
Here are a few photographs from our viewing last night. Thank you. We hope you are enjoying these nuggets and the longer videos that we are posting on our YouTube channel, Steve Groman, and our Facebook pages, A Creation Seminar and Steve Dana Groman. This is a listener-supported ministry. Please tell your friends and family about our YouTube channel and our Facebook pages. If you are blessed by these nuggets and could become a monthly partner with us, that would be greatly appreciated. Or if you could consider giving a one-time donation to help us continue to produce these nuggets and continue this ministry during such unprecedented times. Thank you.